Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Dav's Daily. We're in the home office here, early in the morning. Got some work to do. It's been a busy month so far at work. We just found out that we do have to go back to the office very soon, so that's going to be different. I haven't been to my office in a year and a half now, I think, so it'll be different. But embrace change and just adjust but today I know I've been kind of feeding a lot of Dav's dailies to health and fitness and kind of what I do when it comes to eating and when it comes to basically how I look at my fitness on a daily basis, on what I buy at the store to what I have in my fridge to whatever it might be. I've been looking at that a lot recently, so I wanted to kind of dive into another I guess motivational thing that a lot of folks struggle with, and that's financial. That's money, right? I've never been a huge fan of money. I like to have it whenever I want to get something. But at the end of the day, money can't buy you happiness. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's bullshit, because if I have money, I can get this and that. It's not really happiness that you're buying. You're buying something that makes you feel good, but you're still not happy. And what I want to talk about specifically today is the concept of diversifying where you put your money. And now for some people who might be making minimum wage, or some folks who might not be making that much, or folks who might be making a lot, the basic concept is the same. Now how much and the volume of money that you can diversify is very different, right? Very, very different. I've always been a person that I try to live beneath my means, right? So you've got people who live within their means. That means they're, cutting even or maybe saving a little. You've got people who live outside their means, which spend more than they make, and, well, debt happens. I like to live under my means, which means I like to buy and spend my money wisely, in which most of my money I'm saving. Obviously, we never know what's going to happen in life. We never know. I know for a fact that it had nothing to do with job performance, but I've been laid off twice based on company restructures. And if I hadn't taken initiative to save money and diversify how I'm saving my money and where I'm saving my money, I wouldn't have been able to make it through those times, because even though there's a lot of folks out there who are enjoying, or I guess maybe enjoyment is not the proper term, but utilizing the unemployment system out there and surviving, I can tell you as a single person who has their own home and their own car, the unemployment system does not give you even enough to pay for the bills of a single household. So that wasn't an option for me. I was not going to just live on unemployment, though it is a tool there to help you through tough times. When I was younger, and I think a lot of people go through this, I got my first job. I had money for the first time. And I kind of got jaded a little early, because my parents, who are very financially frugal, they would take that money, or at least a portion of that money, every single time that I got paid, and they would put it somewhere, but it wasn't mine, it was mine, but it wasn't in my pocket. And I didn't like that, and it annoyed me, because I wanted to go out and spend it on everything, from magic cards to whatever. I wanted to spend it on stupid things. But they took a chunk of my money to do something with, and I didn't know what that was. So it really annoyed me, and through my, later teenage years, going into my early 20s, when I broke away and I was on my own, man, I spent money on everything, and I accumulated a lot of debt that I've since had to suffer for. And I realized what they had been doing is they had been putting that money into a investment portfolio. Now, I don't know a damn thing about investing in stocks and stuff like that. I found a trusted friend who is a financial advisor who handles stocks and stock market and investments. And I have a deal with him that if he makes me money, he gets a portion of that money. I get the majority of it, but he gets a portion. So it's advantageous of him to make me money because then he gets paid. And as I even got to my late 20s and now early 30s, I've diversified even more. I'm still putting money into my investments. I have my own retirement fund because I've been a contractor for many years and we don't get the luxury of having a retirement fund provided by a company. So investments, I have my retirement fund, which is, for me, it's a Roth IRA. And then I've got 3 different savings accounts. And they're all 3 for different purposes. I have one savings account that is for retirement. There's a chunk of money every time I get paid that goes in there. I have a retirement fund for trips. So I like to take a big trip each year. That particular savings account is for that. And then I have a rainy day savings account, which is for any sort of emergencies. Maybe it's an emergency around my house. Maybe it's a medical emergency. Maybe it's a car emergency. And I have that. And they're very diversified in where they are and the interest rates that they get. And what I will tell you is, if you say, well, I'm good, I have a savings account. Have you checked the interest rate on that savings account? Ultimately, it's a waste of time and energy if you're putting money somewhere where you're not getting money back. Basic bank savings account gives you nothing back, literally nothing. You could have $1,000 in there and they might give you a couple pennies, right? But if you start to look at other options, I know 2 companies that I've used in the past, Barclays and Capital One. Regardless of your thought on Capital One, they have some nice longer-term savings options. And so I would look at those with much higher interest rates that you'll ever get from your typical bank. And the big thing, the big message I want to get out of this is that you start to look at your finances and you start to think about what you're spending your money on. And you're starting to think about where your plans are for the future. Now, maybe you can only do $5 a week. Maybe that's all that you can afford. Well, take that $5 and put it in a nice big interest rate savings account. Maybe you can do $10, all right? Put 3 in that savings account and take 7 and put it in a different savings account for a different purpose. But really the big thing is diversify and keeping yourself organized, that each of your accounts are for a specific reason, right? And yeah, it's nice to have that money right now and go out and buy that thing that you really want right now. But at the end of the day, one of these days, your job's not going to be there. Maybe you have an emergency. Or maybe you want to retire. Starting soon, starting now, starting early in life. Even though you don't necessarily like it because you want to go out and party and have fun and buy those trinkets, it might be a good idea to think about. Diversify where you're saving. And make sure you're smart about the savings account you pick to make sure you maximize the amount of money that you're getting back. Guys, take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you tomorrow on Dav's Daily.